Hey, welcome back. I'm Chris, and today, well, I'm going to take apart my camera. Let's do this real quick. Now, I really don't want to do this. I mean, this is the camera that I had to get fixed a long time ago. Not long, maybe like a year or two ago. I don't know, year and a half ago. And I don't want to have to take it apart again, but the pop-up flash isn't working. And I know it doesn't seem like the pop-up flash is that big of a deal. But if I want to go ahead and use this camera, or more so if I want to teach my son how to do photography, I kind of need that pop-up flash if I'm going to teach him how to use speedlights and do studio work. I mean, at the very least, you use the pop-up flash to control another Canon speedlight, or even control the real cheap, inexpensive speedlights that I have. So I gotta see what's going on. To me, it's not responding at all. You press the button, nothing happens. I don't even hear the motor trying to release the latch on this pop-up flash. So maybe something's just disconnected. That's what I'm hoping. I've gone through the settings, I put everything back to the factory reset, nothing's worked. So there's not, I mean, yeah, I guess it's kind of the only other option is to start tearing into this thing and seeing what's going on. Maybe I'll just leave these on here. I really don't want to do this, but what are you gonna do? Now, I tend to, when you do something like this, try to map out all the screws, and you could, you know, some people have made little templates or drawings of where every screw goes. That's all fine and dandy. Most of the screws hopefully are the same length, but already they're I'm seeing that they're different lengths. So at the very least, I kind of just work one way or the other in a clockwise fashion, counterclockwise fashion, as long as I remember where I started and where I'm working to. And taping it at the exact same time definitely helps as well. Now there's gonna be screws hidden underneath the rubber grips, and I'm not fond of taking that stuff off and apart, but you kind of have to. I mean, there's no other way to get to it, you know what I mean? Hey, what are you gonna do? I've done this once before on my 60D that I bought used because stuff wasn't working on it. Actually, the autofocus, there's lights that light up in the viewfinder. For the autofocus, those lights were not lighting up. So I had to take everything apart and figure out what was going on with it. Of course, there's like one screw that's gonna strip on me. Of course. There we go. Always comes down to that one screw that does not want to come out. Another good thing to have is maybe some tweezers, you know, especially with these tiny screws. I'm not really looking forward to this. And I'm not going to send my camera back to Canon again, although I should see what the warranty is on it after you've had it fixed. And I don't remember if this flash worked or not after I got it back from Canon. I really don't recall. So this video might get a little bit boring here and there. Not really, I'm gonna edit most of this out. We'll just stick to the good parts. And hopefully I find something. Some reason why this thing wouldn't be popping up. Hopefully it is just something silly, something stupid. Now you could actually literally just draw out the bottom real quick, put some sticky tape down, you know, double-sided tape, and then stick the screws to it. That way it's gonna, well, you're not gonna knock them and they're gonna go flying everywhere. You know what I mean? That's a, you know, a bonus that you don't do that. So what else can we take off here? I know there's screws everywhere, but how much do we have to take off to actually get to stuff? That's the question. Like I said, I hate peeling back this stuff to find screws, but what else are you gonna do? You know, you gotta find them somehow. Ay, ay, ay. I know you might be thinking, if you know anything about cameras and you've looked cameras up before, why am I even bothering with a T3i and trying to do this? But like I said, I want my son to use it, and it's a good little camera. There's a lot you can do with it. I've made, well, quite a bit of YouTube videos with this thing, and I hate to just give it up because of something silly. You know what I mean? I definitely do not recommend doing this. It's not a how-to by any means whatsoever. Whoa. Yeah, I don't like to force stuff that much, jeez. Considering I don't know what's what, I'm just trying to look for anything that looks like it's, well, disconnected, out of place, not the way it should be. You are watching which screws I took out where, right? Because I'm not. I need to know. Just gingerly pry it up over there. Yep. Okay. It's coming now. My thumb was right next to that capacitor. Do not touch that capacitor. That's going to give me a little bit of a jolt. Now I can see the motor on this side. That's going to release the little latch here. And I can see where the plug is for the motor. It's plugged in. I guess that's good, but it's also bad because I don't know what's wrong then. This is a little nerve-wracking, even though it's nerve-wracking because I paid good money for this camera. It does do a lot. It works. Well, it worked until I took it apart. I don't know if I feel like taking all these ribbon cables out. I really don't. Those few ribbon cables there are holding the whole top piece on it. Okay, so I was just gonna go find some plastic tweezers, but I figured I'd give it one more shot instead of running all the way downstairs and trying to find something and taking more time. So I was able to get the wires free and get this thing apart. Now I can actually try to look at everything. But the prism up here, and I think it's this here, and maybe that, and my 60D, that was knocked off and knocked loose. And between those two things, there's an LED, and then there's a kind of like a, I don't know, but the LED shines on there like etched glass or something like that, and it creates all those little tiny red focus points that you see in the camera. Well, when I got my 60D, it wasn't lighting up at all. Those things were knocked, and there was all sorts of sticky stuff down in here and such, so something really happened to that camera. And I didn't know that when I bought it, and they never disclosed that. So I was able to fix it, but just the same. That was pretty hectic and scary, just like this. Now the question is, there was one lone wire here that I don't think it's broken, but it's not connected to anything, so where would that go? Could it possibly be some sort of antenna? I don't know. Yeah, that's not comforting. I don't know what that is. I mean, if it wasn't made to come off, I hope I just didn't break something. I mean, the thing is, I don't see a wire or anything inside of there. See, this right here is the latch mechanism for the pop-up flash, and it rotates in such a way that it pops the flash up, but it's not doing that for some reason. And those gears match up with this gear, it matches up with that motor, that matches up with these few wires. Well, like any problem, let's get the meter out and see if we have continuity between those wires. And if I test it on the board, it's also got a good connection to the board, so I know that connection's good. Sure. What else is going on here? What else does this motor drive? Does this motor drive your shutter as well? Possibly. But then again, why would they have all these gears in here for just a pop-up flash? That doesn't make any sense either. Watch, it was probably that just this thing was loose or something like that. This ribbon cable should control my depth of field preview button and, well, the flash release button. Should. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, so the way I figure it, that motor, it runs one way. I don't know which way. Let's just say it's gonna run clockwise, and it's gonna hit a couple different gears. Those gears are gonna bring up this little tiny gear that's gonna activate the other gears to pop up the flash, and it'll pop it up. And then when you go to press like the shutter, it's gonna run the other way, say counterclockwise, and then that's gonna operate the shutter and everything else that goes along with that. So that's pretty interesting. Pretty cool. Yep. I'm gonna say that's how that works. I wouldn't have known that unless I, read the specs of this camera or took it apart. So I'm gonna put everything back together and we're gonna see, well, if it still works and if I fixed the problem. I'm not too confident that I did, but you never know. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. We'll find out. Okay, so I just had a silly idea. When you put a flash on the hot shoe, there's like this little tiny, well, I mean, it's two pieces of metal that spring down. Well, they spring up, but when you put the flash on the hot shoe, it pushes that metal down, which pushes a piece of plastic, which pushes something else in here. It looks like it pushes another piece of metal away from the board. So it says, yes, there's a flash on the hot shoe. Now, I did notice that sometimes when I pressed the pop-up flash button, it would say that there is an external flash on the hot shoe when there wasn't. So maybe it's just that little tiny piece of plastic that's giving me all this headache, because it's not telling the camera that you're wrong, there's nothing on there. Well, I can easily check for continuity there to find out. If there's continuity between it right now when there's nothing on the hot shoe, then I know it's working. It's like playing Operation, and I'm not very good at Operation. I need something super, super tiny, like a needle. Good thing I have a needle right here. Ooh. Let's see. Let's see what we can do. If I go like this. Okay. Well, that should be fine then. Like I said, there's a button on the other side that says this flash is actually closed, but without taking a lot more apart, I can't tell where that button connects to. Yeah, let's just put it back together. Since I know how to take it apart, if I need to take it apart again, I will. Otherwise, I'm not gonna worry about it too much, I guess. Where to start? I might have to watch this video and edit it first to see how to get this back together. Okay, I'm just gonna put the top back on again. So needless to say, on my 60D, the pop-up flash wouldn't pop up, and that's kind of a big deal, because if that flash doesn't pop up, you can't control another Canon flash, and with that flash, you can adjust the settings in that Canon flash wirelessly off camera. So the pop-up flash is a very big deal if you're working in a nice little small studio setup and you're using Canon speedlights. So to have that flash pop up, it's extremely huge, extremely helpful. And with the other camera, it was stuck down with, to me, what looked like somebody spilled a drink on here, like a soda drink. It was stuck down with sticky syrup, and I was able to get it working and operating after taking it all apart and cleaning it up. But that flash is a big deal. So if you think it's not, it is. You know what I mean? I'm just food for thought there, I guess. Anyways. I'm not sure when my camera cut out there, but I have it kind of temporarily put back. I still have a lot of screws to put back in, but the battery's in, memory card's in, the flash actually pops up. And like I said, you can kind of depress this tiny little switch here, and then go ahead and hit the flash button. And it should pop up. Of course, it's not for me. Either way, it knows that the flash is now up. It should be. Oh! Okay, did you see that? Yep. Okay, so that's at least working. And because it's working, I can go into my flash control settings, and now with the built-in flash, I should have options here for easy wireless, custom wireless, normal firing. I should be able to change first curtain, second curtain, stuff like that. The flash exposure compensation I should be able to change. It's going to allow me to change a whole bunch of different settings in here that, well, I kind of need to change. Alright, now that I have this all wrapped up, hopefully it works. Hopefully it works. You know how you do that sometimes? You put everything back together, and then for some reason it doesn't work, and it's just a little frustrating. So let's see. We press the flash button, and the flash pops up. Oh, that's awesome. Take a picture. Flash works. That's just beautiful. And you can go into flash control. Now, like I said, I didn't even know I had that camera on. Oh, that's funny. I probably should shut that one off, huh? I don't need that one on anymore. You can go into flash control, and you can change a lot of different stuff. It's in manual right now, but you can put it in ETTL too, and that's cool because now you can do different things. You could say, hey, I just want you to wirelessly control this flash, and I want to keep this flash in ETTL as well. So that's very cool if you're using this for your main light, that this thing will fire, hit, shoot out the information, hit this, and fire off. And then you can, there's tons of different stuff. Easy wireless control gives you limited options. Custom wireless control, you get more options. I can go and tell. Now you may not see it on camera, but this should flash. Oh, duh. I gotta have that in slave mode. Okay, it should flash just the same. And it works. That's beautiful. That's in ETTL mode to where it's an automatic flash for the most part. And if you're doing portraits, that's great, especially if you're using that as your main light. Now there's two groups you can use. You can put this as group A, and then group B could be your fill light, your background lights, whatever it is, and you could put those in manual mode. Keep this in there's so much you can do. It's beautiful. You can turn everything into manual mode and then go ahead and change the brightness of this flash if you want, which doesn't even matter in the pictures, but you will see it a little bit. You can change the flash output of that flash. I'll change that down quite a bit. It's just the fact that I can change the output of this flash from this flash, not even radio frequency, it's just with this flash, it sends a pulse of light that says, hey, do this. That's awesome. So really cheap, you can get a T3i. This is a 430EX, not a 430EX2. I bought this before I bought this, years before I bought this, because I had the Canon Digital Rebel, whatever the first digital consumer camera was. I bought that well before I bought this, and it didn't. I had to use triggers and sync ports and stuff to get it working then, as far as I remember. I don't have that camera anymore. I sold that camera to buy this camera. But just because this camera can do functions that, well, the 60D or even the 70D can, not as extensive as those can, but you can. I can take portraits with this very easily and make some money off of it. I'm not doing big billboard stuff, but I could easily do stuff for websites and such like that if you needed headshots or corporate headshots or whatever you needed. There's opportunity here. Anyways, I'm rambling a ton. The whole point was we took this camera apart, fixed the flash, fixed the pop-up mechanism. I took the camera apart. I really didn't fix anything because I don't know what was wrong in the first place. But the point is now it's working, and that's all that I needed. That's all that I wanted, is for this thing to work so that I can control this and have, a backup to some of my other cameras, because it's always nice to have a backup just in case something does fail. So like I said, again, I am rambling way too much, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm really curious how this edit's gonna go. I'm gonna keep it kind of short because it's not necessarily a how-to. I don't recommend doing this, but just the same, it kind of is a how-to because I just did it. Anyways, I'm rambling again, and I'll see you on the next one. Okay, I gotta take all this stuff down before I drop a camera. Oh my goodness. There's one camera down. Get this tripod down. Oh! I hit a light. Oh no. Okay. There's that. That's off. It's dinner time. I'm gonna go eat, I'm gonna go edit, and I'll clean this studio up later. I'll see you on the next one.